This is Show Me the Nuggets with Joe Troyer. Welcome back to Show Me the Nuggets. Eduardo Trinidad here, podcast producer. Today we're bringing you part 2 of the COVID-19 agency battle plan with Joe and his business partner, Rob Warner. In this episode, Joe and Rob will be focusing on the realities of this current crisis and the important things that agencies and marketers should be doing in these challenging times. Let's have a listen.
All right, so next up, guys, is we need to talk about the reality. At the end of the day, the reality is we are going through a worldwide pandemic, right? There is right now happening a market-wide drop, whether you want to think about it as an irregularity or an abnormality. But at the end of the day, irregularities and abnormalities are always temporary, right? In time, they'll fix themselves. What we don't know is how long that time is going to be, right? How long is COVID-19 and the coronavirus going to affect us like they've been affecting us right now, right? We don't know what that timeline is going to look like. But the thing is that the agencies and the marketers who last, I believe the ones who lead as well, really stand to gain all of the market share of those who fail and throw in the towel during, again, this temporary irregularity or abnormality. So in every recession, huge companies have made it, have been invented, have boomed, and have reinvented and boomed. You look at the companies like Amazon and Apple and Uber, and recessions have literally made their businesses. And at the end of the day, folks, I think the most important thing, if you could take away one thing from this call, is that clients still need your services, right? Clients still need your services. And when it all ends, when all of this ends, when all of this is over, whenever this pandemic is over, do you guys really believe that business owners' appointments, right, and their schedules just going to magically fill up from before? Right? All the appointments that they had before are now going to magically come back to them? Probably not, right? Again, I really believe that clients still need your services. Marketing isn't going away. They need us now more than ever. So, Rob, you want to talk about what you need to do?
I do. So I think there's a few things to do. And these are, you've probably noticed a recurring theme in every time I open my mouth on this call tonight. The first thing is, don't make dumb decisions. Don't make decisions based on panic, based on emotion, based on anxiety. And that can be a really hard thing to do when you're feeling stressed and anxious. But you need to find a way to step back. One way that I find really effective to do that is to have a conversation with somebody else, walk it through. I often find that just articulating my decisions, that my dilemma, even with somebody who doesn't understand it, actually makes it easier to come to the right decision. And ideally look for somebody you trust with a different perspective to you. Because collectively, we've all as individuals got blind spots when we make decisions. So a great thing to do before you do anything drastic, before you let employees go, before you kill off a VA who has been working for you successfully for 3 years, or you make a harsh decision with a client, and if the client asks for a discount, you say no. Think about it. Talk with somebody you respect, somebody you know, like, and trust, and preferably somebody who has a different brain mode to you. If you're an optimist, find a pessimist. If you're aggressive, find somebody who's more conservative. Together you will see the more blind spots than if you just make that decision by yourself, because often these things can't be reversed. Or certainly not easy. I mean, it's really, if you lose a really good member of staff, how long is it going to take you to get that person, another person, retrained? Well, if it's short-term pain now, it might be worth painstaking in the short term so you don't affect your long-term future. I would always say, make your decision, I mean, look forward for a 12-month time horizon. So think about what your ultimate goal is and think about the short-term steps that you need to take to get to that goal, even if it means that it just gives you a metric that you're going for. Now, if you want a 10x, then today that might look like a really difficult thing to do. But if you can say, okay, what are the things that how does my decision today affect my 10x goal tomorrow? Am I going to be setting myself back? Is there a different way I can achieve my short-term objective than the path I'm thinking about going down? I'll give you an example. Let's say you're thinking about losing an employee and they're costing you $5,000 a month, and I'm just making numbers up. But you know that to get to your long-term goal, that person's a key player, they've got skills that you need, they've been loyal, trained. Well, maybe you can't afford to keep them at 5,000. But to be quite honest, the job market ain't that great right now. People are not, rushing off getting headhunted other than by grocery stores, it seems right now, and the health services. So say, okay, maybe you could do a deal. Maybe one of the government schemes would support you in the short term with your cash flow. Maybe they'd take a pay cut. But understand that if you take a pay cut now, get some government support, that allows you to continue on your path. Maybe they take a different way of working and go to commission, or I don't know, but think through your options and never ever make a decision when you've only evaluated one option. Evaluate at least 3 to 5 options, brainstorm. Because if you only focus on one, you don't see the alternatives. Position yourself for success. That's kind of what I've just been talking about. It's about making decisions today that position you for future as well. And don't stop. I hear lots of places saying, oh, we're closing, we're going off grid. If you're a restaurant, then your only option is to do takeout. If you're a hotel, you're in a mess. There's nothing you can do about it if you're a hotel. None of us have that problem. We can work remotely, which is what we do most of the time. When this first broke out and my friends from other businesses were saying, oh my goodness, anybody got a checklist? We're going to work remote. What's all the things that we need to think about? We kind of went, we do it every day. We don't even think about it. It's just how we live our life. And I suspect for many of you, the same goes. So use that and go hard. A great question, which ties in with the last point on that slide, which was, position yourself for 10x. There's a question in the chat that said, what does doubling down actually mean? Does it mean doing twice as much as you would do normally? No, it doesn't. It means doing the right things that have impact today and towards your goal in the future. Be intentional, be deliberate, and maximize the ROI on your time and effort. That's what doubling down means, and that's how you 10x.
Great stuff. All right, so next, building buffers. Just some things to think about, right? We want to be careful during these times, right? To build up buffers, right? We want to cut monthly recurring outgoing expenses where we can, right? We want to stay on top of what we're getting billed for, what we're getting charged for, right? We want to stay on top of collections as we're billing clients, and we want to embrace that these are hard times, but don't ignore them, right? If a client doesn't pay or their credit card fails, don't just ignore it and say, oh yeah, coronavirus, I'm not going to get paid, right? Follow up with them, work on a payment plan, do a 2-pay for the month instead of just a 1-pay, right? Break it into 2 payments, make it easier for them, and you'll still be able to get paid, right? And then think about cutting deals with clients that are cash rich, right? To pay early. Okay, get them to pay, for the year and give them a discount. And some of you may laugh and go like, yeah, but who's going to pay me early and pay me for a year? And we have clients that do it all the time, right? We have clients that put it on their invoices, right? Pay for, 10 months, get 2 months free or something like that, and have cash rich clients pay up front for an entire year. Next up is use government support if it's available to you. So right now, obviously, we in the United States have, stimulus packages being just signed and new ones being worked on. And no matter where you're at, there's most likely some type of stimulus opportunity. So, Rob, I know you were talking about one from the UK just a couple days ago. I think it's when somebody gets fired, right? Or you don't have enough work for them.
Yeah, so in the UK government, like the US government and many around the world, realizes that if they don't do something, whole industries are going to collapse around them. And so our government, Monday, I think it was, no, Friday night, announced that they would cover 80% of employee wages if you didn't lay off that person, but instead retained them. They have to not do work for you. So you have to genuinely be going to lay them off. But if they don't do work for you, then they will pay 80% of their wages on your behalf. The goodness knows how the detail is going to play out. Like lots of these things, the headline comes out first, the detail comes out second, sometime later. But right now we've got some, 80% is great. There are loans been put in place. And, as people say, buy umbrellas in the sunshine. Well, it might not be sunny right now, but still go out and buy umbrellas if you possibly can.
That could be definitely a way to continue supporting an employee, right? As well, right? Instead of just completely firing them, not being able to pay them, it's just a short-term thing. You pay 20%, and right as this thing goes away and unfolds, right, you can bring them back on full time, and you don't lose that on ramp and that time investment that you spent getting that person up to speed. So get lines of credit or other facilities in place. But ultimately, guys, at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing is just not to bury your head in the sand, right? Take action before you need to, right? And be thinking about the future is the big message, especially in all of this, but especially in building buffers, right?
This has been Show Me the Nuggets with Joe Troyer. Thanks for listening. For more exclusive content from Joe, please visit digitaltriggers.io.